If you recall, during the previous part of this story, I held a sort of mini contest for naming Obito's second Mangekyo Sharingan. There were so many awesome names presented, but one name stood out above the rest to me, and that one was Takemikazuchi. According to not only the comments, but the Wikipedia page, Takemikazuchi is the name of a Shinto deity that serves not only as a god of thunder, but a god of swords. Considering the nature of this technique and the fact that this name was the crux of so many wonderful names presented by those watching, I have decided to go with Takemikazuchi for the technique's name. Thank you all for giving your opinions. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check that you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. The battlefield was filled with the stench of blood. As the screams echoed out and the shells rained from the skies, darkness covered everything. Only two sets of piercing red eyes could be seen in the falling shadows that existed between the flashing ordnance. One set of eyes were red with a black three-spoked wheel, the spokes bent slightly. The other were a pair of red six-pointed stars set atop a black background. These eyes were the eyes of two of the Uchiha, the last reminder that Konoha ever existed at all. Their headbands bore the shape of Konoha's leaf on them, but the name was lost to the rest of the world, remembered silently in only the hearts of those who knew. The village hidden in the past is what it became known as to all outsiders. No village, no nation. They were merely mercenaries at this point, one day working for Kumo, the next day working for Suna, taking missions for Iwa and committing assassinations for Kiri. But why did this ethereal nation, this ghost village, fight so much? Was it because they wanted more money? A place to call home? No. These shinobi were ronin, warriors without a master. They were destined to reach an end, but before that end came, they were determined to destroy the one responsible for the destruction of their village. And that was why they worked so hard. Looking down at the face of the warrior whose name had been on their bounty list. Target identified. Confirmed, Itachi said as his Shoto began sawing the head from the shoulders. Another beside him began to mark something off the list. A boy who looked to be no older than 16. Sasuke Uchiha. Though he did not remember the village hidden in the leaves, he was the last member of the final generation to be born in it, or so they had thought. But all in all, despite knowing nothing of the village, he knew what he had lost, because he lived every day without it, without the loving touch of parents, without a house to call home or a pillow on which to lay his head. He had Itachi, and Itachi tried to provide for him, but the world was a cold place. It was dark, and it was hard. Sasuke was experiencing a world without stability, with only Itachi being there to give him any form of steady care. And because of that, he hated whoever had done this to them, whoever had done this to their village. Buyer really wanted this guy dead to be able to put this big of a price tag on a guy who was probably going to get killed anyway, Sasuke said. Don't underestimate people. Chances were this guy was going to live and corrupt people, perhaps commit war crimes. If you looked at the record I gave you, you'd know. Sasuke looked to the side. I skimmed. I can see that. So what did you look for in this person before coming here? Sasuke stood silently for a moment. His abilities. Itachi looked up. That's why things don't make sense. You knew what the guy could do, not what he would do or how he would do it. By looking into the file, you found his tools, but you skipped his history. Without knowing the rest, you can never perceive the future. People hardly change, and unless you see how they act in the past, you can't guess what they'll do. This shinobi was a man of hatred, a man of cruelty. Every village he was sent to was sacked, its people tormented and killed. The one who hired us did so because he was the only survivor. He was like us. This was retribution. When you forget the human aspect of it, Sasuke, you open yourself up to destruction. Never be lazy. You can never afford to be lazy. Whether you do it now or do it when you have to do something else, you have to expend that energy, and the cost you pay will be increased. Be disciplined. Control your wandering mind and focus like a sword. Rest when there's no job to do, but when it's time to work, do it all, and do it well. Sasuke nodded. Itachi had taken it upon himself to teach the boy. He had hoped that Sasuke could grow up in a peaceful village protected by him when he was younger. But as the village fell to the Nine Tails, Itachi could do nothing but lament that all he could do was give Sasuke the same inner village that he and every survivor of Konoha carried with them. Taking up the head, the two of them left the battlefield together to find the man who owed them. They found him at his manor. By this time, the man whose home had once been destroyed had stumbled into good fortune, and had become a wealthy broker of fine antiques, which allowed him to gain more money than his original village ever had. But despite these things, he remained unhappy. It wasn't about the money as much as it was about the happiness, but with this he could feel fulfilled. The souls of those he loved finally at rest. They came into his home, dripping sweat, mud, and blood from the battlefield. Blood not their own. Soaking the carpet, carrying the severed head of the man in their hands. Those with weaker constitutions nearly puked at the sight. The lord of the manor dismissed his guests as he walked over to identify the shinobi. Ah yes, he possesses a mole under the right corner of his bottom lip. This is indeed the target I sent you to kill. Sasuke held out his hand without speaking, looking for the money. The man dropped the sack of coins in Sasuke's hands as Itachi handed over the 10-pound cranium. The man took it in his hands and looked at it. I would like to think that his spirit wanders around blind, deaf, and dumb, unable to find peace. Let that eternal torment be punishment for what he did to my wife and daughter. He bid that his servant come to him. The servant did so. Take this to the incinerator. Never let me see this face again. The servant left with it. Suddenly, Sasuke stepped forward aggressively, only for Itachi to catch him. This is only half of the agreed upon payment, Sasuke shouted. The man looked to Sasuke. Indeed it is. Itachi demanded that Sasuke control himself. Sasuke pulled back. Itachi then spoke. This is not the agreed upon amount. What's the meaning of this? The man smiled. You are indeed as perceptive as you were said to be. But should I truly be surprised that the pride of the Uchiha not let anything get by him? I was about to mention it. That sack contains half of the agreed upon money. Now I can give you the other half now, or you could use it to buy something from me that you desperately desire. And what is that? Itachi asked. The man's smile turned to a grin. Information. Itachi was intrigued. As a man with plenty of money, I know that there are things with value beyond gold. Things that are hard to buy. Intangible things that, while useless to some, might be priceless to others. But I also know that as poor folk, money has the ability to buy your necessities. So the choice is yours. What is the topic of this information you wish to sell? Itachi asked. The attack on the Hidden Leaf Village, and most importantly, the ones responsible for it. Itachi looked to Sasuke, who looked back, his face displaying honest curiosity. Itachi looked back to the man. Fine, we'll buy the information, but it'd better be worth our time. If it's something we already know or something outdated, we'll be taking the other half of these funds whether you agree to it or not. No offense, of course, but we have a reputation. The man accepted the terms. The ones you're searching for are a group known as the Akatsuki. They're a secret organization that has mercenaries that rival or surpass even the great Konoha's Anbu. You see, I heard it whispered on the market when I was looking for those to hire to bring that bastard to justice. I was recommended by a friend to contact the Akatsuki because they were the ones responsible for the destruction of Konoha. The question you need to ask yourself is, what happened to the Ninetales after the village fell? Well, it likely ended up in the hands of the Akatsuki, and rumors are swirling around that the Akatsuki have a member in the core that possesses the Ninetales within them. Now normally the Akatsuki would be my first choice, but I realized that this information would be worth a lot and I came into it for free. So I decided to cash my information on someone who could use it. Someone who's suffered like I have. So I'm telling you now so you can get to work avenging yourselves as you did for me. Itachi bowed slightly. Thank you. I don't suppose you know where to find this Akatsuki, do you? The man sat there for a moment. I'm not certain, but I think I know where they're going to be. There's been rumors that the tailed beasts are disappearing from each individual village. I'm not sure why they're after them, but they are after the tailed beasts. You could always start by staking out the tailed beasts and waiting for the Akatsuki to show up. It might be a long wait, but that's what I would suggest doing. Itachi looked at Sasuke. Sasuke gave a sly smile. I say we find this tailed beast user and see if he can't lead us back to the Akatsuki. Naruto Uzumaki, the Jinchuriki of the Ninetales, strode through the base of the Akatsuki. He had grown taller. It was hard to believe that 9 years had passed since he first came here, but now he possessed the cloak of the Akatsuki. He returned to the room that possessed the Geto statue. Walking in, he saw the statue there, 7 of its 9 eyes open, staring blankly into the space before it. I see the sealing ritual went well, Naruto said. Pain, standing there alone, staring up into the eyes of the statue, spoke. It did. Now there are but 2 other beasts left to sealed up before the 10 tails awakens. Then the last beast for us to take will be the 8 tails, and then I'll give up part of my 9 tails and the beast will awaken. Pain stood there silently for a moment before looking back. Naruto, you need to know that you can't trust the man you claim to be your father. He's been manipulating you for quite some time. You do not see it because you're blinded by love, but you are a liability to him. When it's time to take the Nine Tails, I fear he will try to kill you. Naruto couldn't hide the roll of his eyes. He sighed. Lord Pain, I believe we went over this. While I respect your authority, I'd prefer if you not meddle in my personal life. Who I choose to call family is my choice. I tell you this only because we are family, Naruto, Pain said. I, like you, am an Uzumaki. I am of the same blood as you, the same clan, and I don't want to see you treated as such. You possess such magnificent potential, but don't let your heart be blinded. He will kill you. He took care of me for all my life. Pain sighed. You've been an orphan since birth, but have you ever stopped to question who orphaned you? No, because it doesn't matter. My father's loved me since the beginning. I trust him. Now, just tell me where to find the Eight Tails. Pain turned away from him. Kumogakure. Your target is named Killer Bee. You can find him likely at the Valley of Clouds and Lightning. It's a mountainous region with large swaths of clouds above and water below. I have it on good intelligence that he goes there every so often to meditate and train. You may find him there. Once you capture the beast with the binding Kamui, we'll begin the process of sealing it up as we did the last one. Naruto nodded and turned to leave. Are you not going to rest? Pain asked him. Naruto shook his head. I am this close to fulfilling my father's dream, Naruto said while putting a little distance between his thumb and index finger. Once we have the means to awaken the Ten Tails, I'll rest. But for now, I hunt. And so Naruto left. He moved from limb to limb, making his way through the trees, across the bloody battlefield that was the Land of Fire before crossing the border. He managed to make it into the Land of Lightning, and proceeded to head to a location that was his target's eventual destination. There he laid in wait until his target arrived. He was rather spontaneous and funky, and Naruto was left intrigued by this man's easygoing nature. It seemed that the only training and meditation going on here was the man's attempt to get his rap career off the ground. He was spitting mad bars, and it was Naruto's question why this man hadn't been picked up by a record company yet. With the so-called music going around in this modern era, it was a rare thing to see a man who did it all for the passion and not for the money. There was something about this man that Naruto admired. He felt genuine. He felt real, determined. Naruto lamented that it was going to likely be his death. Naruto would sneak up from behind. He assumed that if he took his time getting close, that the man wouldn't know he was there and would simply be captured without so much as a fight. But as he drew closer, he heard the sound of shifting rubble. The stones near here were loose, and as soon as Naruto heard the sound of his foot dragging over the stones, he knew that his position was betrayed. A finely pointed blade was thrown at Naruto, only for Naruto to jump back and pull a kunai from his hidden stash about his wrist. The man still possessed 6 more swords. A very cautious man, Naruto thought. That was until he saw him take 6 blades and place them in every part of his body where they could be held. Naruto had heard rumors of a 3-sword style, where there was 1 sword in each hand and 1 in the mouth, but this took it to a whole new extreme. He held all of the blades at once. Surely you can't move like that, Naruto said. You'll just drop them all. Killer Bee, offering no response, simply decided to show Naruto how wrong he was. Bee launched into the air with speed and began to spin like a buzzsaw. Naruto was completely caught off guard by this. How did he make such an attack work? Naruto had to take out another kunai just to keep up, but even then he was still struck by some of the blades. Naruto quickly needed to make distance. Killer Bee graciously allowed him to do so, as if his previous attack had been a warning to him to not underestimate him, and to leave now while he still had his life. Naruto quickly shifted his eyes to Mangekyo. This was the best thing he could think to do. He needed to be able to see every blade as it came in. As the battle continued, Naruto activated his version 1 cloak, which intrigued Killer Bee, but Bee would simply activate his own version 1 cloak to continue the assault. At least this way the blades would do less damage. Naruto would begin to press the attack. He utilized his binding Kamui, not so much to try and capture anything, but to use the chains as an extra grouping of weapons to strengthen his defense. The truth was, binding Kamui was something that could be resisted. It wasn't like he could just capture any opponent. He had to weaken them first. Naruto had learned that the chains themselves could be used as such. They had a slight sealing touch. Every time it struck a body, the chains would seal up a portion of chakra. Naruto started pressing the attack, using his superior perception to combat every blade with the power of his Mangekyo's chains. As Bee was pushed back, Naruto began to feel he might have this. Bee then took on a version 2 cloak, to which he grew 8 tails. He utilized his blades in these tails to continue the fight. Naruto would enter his own version 2. Once more, the attacks were coming in. Killer Bee had a perfect union with his tailed beast, which meant that there were now two minds fighting instead of one. Bee retrieved his seventh blade with one of his tails and proceeded to push the attack. Naruto was alone in this battle. Despite having what might be the strongest tailed beast, Killer Bee was still superior. The synergy the two had allowed them to pull the best out of each other and produce a Jinchuriki that, combined, possessed stronger traits than either of the base parts did alone. Naruto was being pushed back. He had no other choice. Pushing his strength as far as he could go, he took on tailed beast form. His entire body shifted into that of the nine-tailed fox, his stature growing immensely, his entire body covered with fur and pointed ears appearing. A moment later, he was in the form of the nine-tails. He had hoped that by bringing his full power to bear, he might be able to overpower their synergy, but the strain was intense. Despite the beast being under the supreme Tsukiyomi, the beast's rabid nature still pushed to the forefront of his psyche. Killer Bee, realizing what had to be done, also took the true form of his tailed beast, shifting into the eight tails at full height, its size easily matching the nine tails. Together, the two titans began to fight, each strike letting out a boom so loud that it threatened to crack the stones below. And if the strikes weren't enough to weaken the mountains, a beast being thrown into it could. The nine tails landed a solid punch to the jaw, which knocked the eight tails back and into a mountain, which caused much of the upper half to crack and fall off into the water. The eight tails retaliated by striking out with its tentacles, but the nine tails utilized its binding chains to fight them off, as well as steal chakra with each connection. Bee was on the ropes. He knew that there was at least one thing he could do that the nine tails could not surpass, and that was tailed beast balls. The eight tails possessed the strongest tailed beast balls in the world, and it possessed more variations than Kurama. Jumping back through the air, it launched 3 consecutive blasts of great strength. Naruto weaved around the first, then the second, but took the third to the side, which knocked him into a mountain. Gyuki would then find a safe distance and would charge a massive tailed beast ball. By the time Naruto got to his feet, it was already too late. The ball was coming at him. Naruto fired his own tailed beast ball at it, but it could do nothing more than hold the massive black orb for a moment, slowing down how fast it would come in. Naruto couldn't push it back, and he had nowhere left to go. He only had one choice. Once it was close enough, he reached out and grabbed it with his chains, and then sucked it and his own attack into the Kamui realm. Gyuki scoffed as Naruto, weakened, fell to his knees. "Seems it's taken a lot out of you, yo. Perhaps it's time to get out of here. Go," Bee said. Naruto shook his head. "Not until I defeat you. Have it your way, fool, you fool." Bee charged another tailed beast bomb, knowing that Naruto couldn't counter it. He would then fire it at Naruto, who himself had formed with the last of his power, the final and largest tailed beast ball he could create. The orb collided with Gyuki's, but still wasn't enough. That was until Naruto utilized his Kamui to summon back the attack launched at him before, and adding it to his power. This had the ability to push Gyuki's attack back into him, causing the beast to be struck by 4 tailed beast balls at once, 2 massive ones and 2 regular-sized ones. To be honest, Naruto was worried that there wouldn't be anything left at all. But he was wrong to worry. The Eight Tails was a hardy creature. It stood there for a moment, covered in char, before falling down on its face and passing out. Naruto stumbled toward it with his own tailed beast form trembling below him. He fell to his knees, and then utilized the binding Kamui to seal up the Eight Tails, Jinchuriki and all, sending it in the direction of his father. Taking his human form once more, Naruto could do nothing but pass out in the rubble. Back at the base, Obito would inform Pain about what had just happened. "Naruto captured the Eight Tails. It's best for us to seal it away now, while we have the chance." And so, all of the Akatsuki began the ritual process of sealing up the Eight Tails into the Gedo statue. As they finished the process, Obito sighed. With that done, all that's left is to simply place a little of the Nine Tails into the statue. But there was a sudden feeling in the room, a feeling of tension. Obito looked back at the various Akatsuki members as they all stood with their weapons drawn. "Oh dear, Nagato, I never thought you to be this foolish." Pain stood there. "I know what you intend to do to the Uzumaki boy. I will not stand for it." To be frank, Obito had not expected this level of reaction from Pain. For one that had seemingly cast off the concepts of weakness and compassion for stoicism and the determination to bring the world pain, he was suddenly acting out of his own personal heart. "What does that matter to you? Whether I plan to take half of the Nine Tails or all of the Nine Tails, it makes no difference. Your dream still reaches fruition. Our shared dream reaches fruition." Pain shook his head. "No, your dream ends here. I know what you're planning." Pain produced the body of Zetsu. "I witnessed you speaking with this one, so I utilized the human path to discover your connection. You were going to lock the world behind a dream. Your machinations end here." Obito sighed. The jig was up. This plan had backfired horribly, but none of that mattered now. He no longer had use for Nagato or the Akatsuki. All he needed right now was Naruto, and he would have him. Obito removed his mask to show both of his Mangekyo Sharingan. I warned you long ago not to overestimate your power simply because you possess a Rinnegan. I'm going to show you what happens when you fail to remember your place in this world. Naruto's eye eventually opened, and he was sitting in a chair, tied to it. Huh? He looked around and saw the eyes of two others nearby. Itachi stood there over him. Sasuke was close by. I say we torture him, get the information we need out of him, and then dispose of him, Sasuke said. Itachi shook his head. No, we just found something interesting. Itachi looked at Naruto's eyes. Can you shut those Sharingan off? Naruto shook his head. Transplant. Sasuke scoffed before spitting on the ground. Who did you steal them from? Itachi looked back. Sasuke, enough. Stop jumping to conclusions when you don't know the situation. Itachi looked. These eyes. You don't recognize them, little brother, but I do. These are the eyes of our father. Sasuke was confused. Wait, what? Itachi nodded. This had to have been an unwilling transplant. This boy is no older than you, Sasuke. There's no way he intentionally took these eyes. What's your name? Itachi asked. Naruto was silent. Itachi sighed. Fine, we'll do it the hard way. Sasuke, come over here. Sasuke walked over, Sharingan activated. Suddenly, all three of them were inside of Naruto's mindscape. They looked around. Wow, awfully guarded, Itachi said. Naruto was still chained, held captive by Sasuke, who followed Itachi. The two of them sought around the vast repositories of knowledge and found the information they were looking for. Itachi was a little shocked. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto stood there listening. Why does it matter? Sasuke asked. Do you not know who this is? Itachi asked. This is Naruto Uzumaki, the son of Kushina Uzumaki. This boy is the son of the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. Wait, the one killed the night Konoha fell? Itachi nodded. He walked over to Naruto. He knelt down a little to face him head on. Why are you working with the people who destroyed our village and killed your parents? I don't know what you're talking about, Naruto said. You don't know the events of that night, do you? Itachi began to rifle through various memories to see if he couldn't understand what Naruto's life had been up to that point. Hey, stop that! Who said you could dig through my mind? Itachi looked back. Who is this Obito fellow you call father? He's the only one in my life who loves me. When I was orphaned, he loved me. He cared for me. He killed your true parents, Sasuke said. I refuse to believe that, Naruto shouted. Itachi nodded. Then maybe we need to go deeper. They traveled to Naruto's earliest memories, attempting to get to the day of his birth. You see, the human mind doesn't tend to be capable of recalling memories that happened before the age of 2, but that doesn't mean they're not there. Our minds are meticulous at keeping track of information, but recalling it? Sometimes it's near impossible without the proper impetus. That's why you can't recall the names of things you remember. Itachi traveled back. The first recorded memories. They're of the day the village fell. He attempted to read through the scrolls, but found them empty. The memories have been destroyed. Naruto was confused. Destroyed? Itachi nodded. Somebody who didn't want you to remember came in here before us and removed this information. What are we supposed to do then? Sasuke asked. Itachi looked back. The Nine Tails. This boy is the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Despite it existing in this boy's mindscape, it is itself a separate mind. I can't help but wonder if the one responsible for this went to the lengths of erasing the Nine Tails memory too. And so Itachi and Sasuke led Naruto to the cage of the Nine Tails. Itachi saw its eyes. Genjutsu, cast by Naruto. It seems to be a form of Tsukiyomi, like mine. I guess it runs in the family, Sasuke said. Likely it kept out the one who erased your memories, because even I can't get into its mind right now. Itachi turned to Naruto. Naruto, I need you to undo the Genjutsu on this beast. Naruto shook his head. No, if I do, I'll lose control. Itachi offered a kind smile. I can control it with my Tsukiyomi, but we need to get in if we're going to see the truth. Why do we even need to see it? Naruto asked. Sasuke shrugged. I'm honestly with Naruto on this one, Itachi. Why do we need to see? How does this pertain to our mission? Itachi looked at Sasuke. Honestly, it doesn't, but this boy isn't our enemy, Sasuke. He's a victim, he just doesn't know it, and I think he deserves to know. Itachi then looked at Naruto again. But all the same, I won't force you to do anything you don't want to. If you want to know the truth, then trust me. If not, we can leave. A moment passed before Naruto grunted. Fine, do it. Naruto let the Genjutsu go. Itachi quickly cast the beast under Genjutsu. He then managed to open up its mind and transport them inside. When there, they went all the way back. The Nine Tails seems to have kept a record of the memories stolen from you, as well as its own memories. two separate sources for the events of the same night, each corroborating each other. Are you ready to see, Naruto? Naruto nodded. This'll prove my father's a good man. They looked into the memories, falling back in time to the day of the Nine-Tails attack. This had been Sasuke's first time experiencing it, but for Itachi it brought back dark memories. They witnessed everything. Kushina being brought to the underground facility and the birth of Naruto. For Naruto's sake, Itachi skipped over the process of birth and jumped to Naruto in the arms of Biwako. But a moment later, Naruto was taken. He was in the arms of another. See, that's my father, Naruto shouted. Itachi shook his head and pointed to Minato. No, that man's your father. They then witnessed Obito put a kunai to Naruto's throat. They saw the Hokage rescue Naruto and throw away the swaddling clothes lined with paper bombs. This Obito man tried to use you as a weapon to kill the Hokage. He then apparently took your mother and ruthlessly ripped the Nine-Tails from her and set it to destroy the village. It seems that both the Hokage and his wife died in the ensuing battle. They witnessed Obito come to take Naruto for himself. Oh, you shall be a happy little ninja, my unwitting slave, Obito said. A powerful servant, one that through hard work will attain the nirvana I have planned. The memory then shifts to the ceiling of the Nine-Tails. The beast cannot yet be placed in the ghetto statue, Obito said. So for now you will serve as a happy little vessel, one that shall cry, Papa, until the day I no longer have use of you. Then I'll take the beast from you and cast aside your broken body, just as I cast aside your father, my old mentor. They watched on. Itachi looked back at Naruto to see eyes full of shock, tears rolling down his cheeks. Itachi realized that he had just brought the boy's world crashing down. It hurt, but in the end it was for the best. I'm sorry, Naruto. Naruto shook his head. No, you doctored it. It's fake. It's a lie or genjutsu or something. Itachi then knelt down. No, these are the memories that we both discovered together. You know it's the truth. Tears bubbled from his eyes as his face became one of utter agony. I thought he loved me. He was all I had left, and he... Itachi hugged him. Naruto, everyone lost something that night. It's why we need to take him down, to claim justice for the dead. Naruto began to follow Sasuke and Itachi, leading them back to the Akatsuki base. He didn't wish to believe that any of this could be true at all, but he couldn't deny these memories were his. He tried to rationalize that they'd been implanted, but he couldn't prove that. They all had this particular feel and way of recording. It was too perfect. He led them in where they found Obito standing at the center of a circle of bodies, covered in blood. He looked back. Ah, Naruto. And I see you've brought some friends. A good thing, too. Ours seem to have gone bad. Naruto was shocked. Father, what have you done? Obito looked around. They had planned to betray and kill me, Naruto. They planned to take the full beast out of you for their own selfish desires. So I killed them, to protect you. Don't listen to him, Naruto. Remember what we showed you. Those memories he hid. He's the one who killed your father. Naruto looked up. Is it true, father? Kill my birth parents. Obito looked down and shook his head. Of course it's not true. I don't know what these two showed you, but it was an obvious lie. I love you, and you know this. Cross-reference those memories with all the others you have. Have I ever displayed a time where I didn't seem genuine? Naruto thought about it. He flipped away from Sasuke and Itachi. No, you haven't. I'm sorry, father. I let them confuse me and doubted your love. Obito patted Naruto on the shoulder. It's okay, Naruto. Let's just hurry up and deal with these two. Then we can use some of your Nine-Tails to activate the Geto statue and bring about the nirvana we had planned. Naruto looked over. What did you say? Obito looked back. What? You just said nirvana, like in the memory. Obito chuckled. Well, that's just a coincidence. People use terms, Naruto. They don't mean... He saw Naruto was about to cry. Screw it. He pulled his katana out and swung it at Naruto. If only you'd continued to trust me, you might have been able to see the world I had planned for us. But now you're going to die like the rest of the Jinchuriki. He attempted to utilize Takemikazuchi to shred Naruto with dimensional blades. However, Sasuke and Itachi covered Naruto with their Susanoo. Naruto looked around at the glowing avatars summoned by the two brothers. They would look to Naruto and nod. Today we avenge our village. Naruto pulled a kunai. He attempted to call a Susanoo as well. After a short moment of instruction from Itachi, Naruto did manage to call it. A magenta avatar that stood as the origin of the two that stood beside it. It was at this moment that Obito wished he hadn't given his other Sharingan to Kakashi, or at least wished to have taken it back when he had the chance. With his mismatched Sharingan, he could not awaken the Susanoo inherent to him, but that hardly mattered. Their so-called absolute defense could do nothing about such powerful dimensional hacks, such as that provided by the Kamui. Obito, bearing his katana, rushed forward. Sasuke and Itachi attempted to strike him, only for their blades to go straight through. Obito ran right through Itachi's Susanoo and impaled him, causing the ninja to fall to his knees. "Brother!" Sasuke called out as he pulled his own katana. For a while, he clashed blades with Obito. That was until Kamui allowed Obito to phase his blade through Sasuke for a moment before slicing him across the chest. Sasuke fell as well. Obito popped his neck. Those two were nothing, and neither will you be. That Susanoo of yours may protect you from Takemikazuchi, but it won't protect you from my Kamui. Obito rushed at Naruto, attempting to strike him. "Don't worry, precious son. I won't kill you. Not until I have the beast you're hiding in your soul." Naruto, with his kunai, managed to block Obito's katana, but only a few times. He managed to cut deeply into Naruto twice, just to punish him. Naruto jumped back, having dropped his kunai and claiming Sasuke's blade for his own. "Don't think that the katana will save you." Obito rushed forward. He planned to slice at Naruto again, but Naruto deflected his blade and went to impale Obito. The blade passed through. Obito sighed. "You would think that you would learn by now. My Kamui makes me..." He suddenly felt blood running down his chest. He became aware of the pain. What? He noticed that Naruto had wrapped his binding Kamui chains around the blade at the last moment. He had sent the blade to the Kamui dimension to stab Obito. Obito fell back. Naruto caught him. "What have you done?" Obito demanded. We could have brought peace." Naruto shook his head. "You wouldn't have brought peace. You would have killed me." Obito looked away. "I wasn't planning to kill you." Naruto was shocked. "You weren't?" Obito shook his head. "No. Pain insisted I was, but I never planned to. I hate to admit that. I developed a soft spot for you. Even though I could have seen you alive in the Tsukiyomi, I wanted you to experience it yourself. Even if you were nothing more to me than a servant. That one part of me that still held on to my mentor. It wanted to see you happy, at least." Naruto felt tears coming to his eyes. "Even if your love for me was fake, father, my love was real, and it still is. You don't know how badly I'm hurting right now." Obito shook his head. "No, I do. When I killed your father that day, I was ecstatic. But I didn't even notice until later that I cried. I killed the man who had partially raised me. I know how you feel, but I guess none of that matters." Naruto hugged him. Obito, for a moment, was overwhelmed with love. In the face of his defeat, knowing that his plans had been for nothing, he hugged Naruto back. "In some world, I'd like to think I was a good father to you. You were a good father to me. I just wish you'd been a real father to me." Obito nodded. "Maybe in some world, maybe in this world, a part of me was." Obito then passed on in his arms. Naruto began to cry for him. Much time passed before Naruto could pull himself back together. As he stood, he looked at the Geto statue. It was filled with the 8 beasts, save his 9th. He had killed so many people in the name of peace. He couldn't let this go to waste. And so he took the Rinnegan of Nagato, implanted them into his own head, and then absorbed the Geto statue into him, where he proceeded to merge it with his 9 tails. Becoming the new Sage of 6 Paths, Naruto set about attempting to bring peace to the world, this time without killing. Due to his experience with Obito, he would have realized that in the end, all people truly wanted was to feel loved. And so, with this new, overwhelming power, he would stop the fighting and heal those hurt therein. He would bring the war to an end and use his powers to unite the 4 remaining shinobi nations. He would then call back all the shinobi who had once lived in Konoha, and he would help them rebuild their village. He would aid in bringing the Land of Fire back, and would help the world find common ground and give up their weapons. Meeting with Hagoromo in a dream, the original sage would tell Naruto his original design for chakra, and what it truly meant to be a shinobi. Naruto would begin showing people this new, or should I say, old way of using chakra, not as a weapon, but as a way to bring people together. And in their joy, the people united and began to lean more on compassion than common greed. This began a new era of peace, one that had not been seen in over 1,000 years. And that's how I plan to end this story. I know it's a bit of a bummer on Obito's end, but you need to realize that Obito was a bad guy and was deceiving Naruto the whole time into being bad with him. If it hadn't been for Sasuke and Itachi, then at best, Obito casts the world under the infinite Tsukiyomi, and at worst, kills Naruto as well. Despite the fact that Obito had been portrayed as caring about Naruto, from the very beginning Naruto was nothing more than a tool to him, and when Naruto figured that out, he was cast aside. I suppose that's something that happens in life too, but just because someone's love for you is fake, be it friends who have used you for their own benefit or anything else, that doesn't mean your love has to be. True, real love is the kind that does so without asking for anything in return. Now, it's not the same as being gullible, don't let people use you, but when you firmly walk away from that situation, do so with kindness in your heart, and realize that the only broken person there is the one who tried to use you. Always remember that you're cared for, and never forget to care for others. But anyway, I prattled too long. Be sure to like, subscribe, and all that other good stuff, and until next time, peace out.